You are listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report, episode 185.2.8. Brent Brobston reacts to Frankton's sectional draw.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengelt.
Welcome, basketball fans. The IHSA boys basketball draw was revealed Sunday, and we have reactions from several coaches on Monday, including Frankton head coach Brent Brobston, who of course led the Eagles to the 2017 state championship. It's time for another postseason as Brobston and the Eagles chase their fifth sectional championship in the last 14 years, but their first since their 2019 regional championship team. Coming up, Coach Brobston shares his thoughts on his team's 9-game winning streak, Sunday's sectional draw, and Frankton's first time ever hosting a sectional. Frankton opens the sectional in Tuesday's second quarterfinal against rival Elwood. The Eagles beat the 5-16 Panthers 53-22 on January 31st. With a win, Frankton would face another rival, this time sectional favorite Lapel. The Bulldogs beat Frankton 61-50 in the season opener, is ranked 10th in Class 2A, and has won 11 games in a row. The winner will face one of three 15-win teams in Saturday's championship game at 7:30. That's March 8th, Saturday, March 8th. Taylor, Sheridan, or defending sectional champion Tipton will be in the sectional championship game. However, before we get to the postseason, Frankton closes its regular season this week at home against 14-7 Shenandoah on Tuesday, then finish it at 4-16 Blue River on Friday. Here is Coach Brobston with his thoughts on how his team is playing, what he'd like to see from his team to end the regular season, and the sectional draw.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengelt.
The Frankton Eagles will be hosting one of the best sectionals in all of Class 2A that features a lot of really good teams, a lot of teams capable of winning that sectional. In the top half, it'll be Taylor and Tipton, with the winner playing Sheridan. And then Coach Brent Brobston's Frankton Eagles will face a familiar foe in the Elwood Panthers, with the winner facing what I'm calling the favorite in the sectional. I don't know if Michelle agrees with me. The Lapel Bulldogs. Coach Brobston, your thoughts your thoughts on the draw.
Everyone knew it was going to be an interesting draw, and in the end, you're going to have to always beat somebody to win it, and I think once you get to that sectional, you really can't take any opponent lightly. So, our first goal in it, obviously, is to focus in on Elwood, and I've got a lot of respect for Coach Van Scock, so that's a team that you don't want to overlook. But like you said, there's so many good teams in it, and it was going to be an interesting draw, however it came out. But you're always going to have contention of beating good teams in order to win your sectional.
I was going to say, Brent, one thing too, looking at the draw and the way it played out, I expect the Eagles' nest to be pretty packed every single night.
Yeah, I think so. I think it'll make for a good environment, a good crowd, and you got some good followings there. So I think the environment will be really cool. Something that we've never had or been able to host. So it's going to set up for that.
Of course, what did you think of your? This was one of the sectionals. This sectional, and of course the 4A sectional with the Fishers and all them. This is a sectional that there was not necessarily an easy draw. There was not going to not be an easy.
There's
draw.
no such thing in this one.
Right. Yeah, there's just not one of those things where you thought there was going to be an easy draw. Like I said, for us, we've got to take on Elwood in the first game, and we're not going to overlook them. And the first time we played them, they didn't have Mullins, and they'll have him back. And so they're a team to not be overlooked. And then you just got to take it one night at a time. Obviously, like Greg said, I think most people looking in would say that they think Lapel's the favorite. But I think everyone there knows that there's 6 teams on any given night that can be a problem.
Yeah, and of course, say you get by that first night, then you have what I call one of those knockdown, drag out backyard rivalry games in the semifinals.
Yeah, that's the thing. If we're fortunate enough to get past night one with Elwood, then we would have to take on Lapel, and that's got a lot of rivalry and heart to it. And it's been a back and forth battle over my 17 years at Frankton, and it always makes for a good game and a competitive game.
Gotta like the way your team's been playing, Coach. Was it 9 wins in a row now?
Yeah, I do. I mean, yeah, we've won 9 in a row, and I think we're playing our best basketball right now. There's some things that I thought we need to get better from the last two games in the Delville and Elliott game, but Delville game we didn't feel like we defended very well. In the Elliott game we felt like we did defend well, but we did not execute offensively very well in that game. Um, so those things are good for us right now to see too, and two games that we didn't think we played very well, but we were able to win. And so when you're able to win and feeling that you didn't play well, that's not a bad sign either. So we've just got some things to clean up going forward. We got good battles this week with Shenandoah on Tuesday and then at Blue River Friday, heading into sectional week.
Hey, Brent, are you? Do you feel like is your team healthy? Are you pretty healthy now going into this final week and then heading into the tournament?
I think we are now. We didn't have Joey Wright at Mississinawa, and we got him back at about 80% with the Delville game, and then I think he was still facing some probably he was probably 85% against Ellick, and I think we'll have him full strength finally this week. But we've had some sickness too, and that's kind of ran its course through our team as well. I think we had a couple guys maybe not feeling as well as they probably have on the night we played Ellick, but I think we're getting past that now. So hopefully we can stay healthy, and we feel like this Tuesday we'll be at full strength with the Shenandoah game.
Yeah, and then you Shenandoah on Tuesday, and then you go to Blue River Valley on Friday, correct?
Correct. Yeah. So we're home Tuesday and then at Blue River Friday.
Do you like having that game Friday night with, and then turn around and playing on Tuesday with the sectional?
I really do. Over the course of all the years I've coached, I think the Tuesday, Friday, the week before sectional, I think is a really good thing. It keeps us on a balance. It also keeps you playing on Tuesday, Friday like you could in the sectional.
And what kind of an edge or an advantage do you have hosting the sectional? Because I know you don't. How many boys sectionals have you hosted?
None.
We have never hosted the boys
I
sectional,
didn't
so
think
this is the
so.
first time in school history. We've hosted the girls sectional, we've hosted the girls regional several times. So we've got experience as a staff in hosting these tournaments, but not the boys sectional. So I think there's an advantage to hosting. There's no question. You're just your kids are there. They're more familiar with the facilities, the court itself. But at the end of the day, the measurements are all the same. So we're going to have to play well in order to advance each night.
I was gonna say sometimes too. I think being a host when you're playing the second game, like you are in Tuesday, and if you win Tuesday, you will the semifinal game on Friday night. I think it helps to be a host because you're so much closer. Your kids are to getting home at a decent hour and getting in, you know, getting to bed and in their own, and everything.
No question. Yeah, I would agree. We've never had that opportunity, but I would agree with you. I mean, you're going to be right there at your locker room. You're going to rehabilitate if you're able to win right there and not have to travel. So you take away some of that travel time and then just the familiarity with the court or with the facilities. So there's a little advantage to it, I'm sure. Every section we've won, the four that we have won have been at Lapel, three of them, and at Elwood, one. So, when we've went to Lapel and played there, as much as we've played there, it didn't feel like you were really not playing somewhere you were familiar with. So, but it's nice to be at home. So that's not a bad thing either. And I think it'll be a good environment for the fans.
Yeah, I think it will too. I like the Eagles Nest. I think it's a great place to play, and I know you are a very good tournament host. I've been to several tournaments that Frankton has hosted on the girls' side, and through the spring sports and everything. So I look for a great atmosphere. I think it's going to be a great tournament.
Yeah, yeah.
And Brent, if I was to, other than getting healthy, is there anything that you want concerns you because you've played in a lot of these teams ahead? Areas that you maybe want to tweak and be better at come tournament time than you were during the regular season?
Um, you mean in terms of us being better against these opponents that we could
Yeah.
potentially
Yes.
see? Yeah, it just when we play Lapel first game of the year, that's obviously a game that neither one of us have really prepared for. I mean, it's just totally different 3 months later. But first for us is Elwood, and the thing with Elwood is they were missing a couple guys the first time we played them, so we didn't really see their full strength, and so that's going to be different for us in terms of the game plan and how we're able to handle them right off the bat and play them. So um, now since we've played them, I feel like we've advanced and gotten better too through the last month, but they have probably too as well, or they may feel the same way. Um, Tipton was early in the year for us, and it was a close game, tied at the end of three quarters. So, but both teams were playing differently, and then we played Taylor to overtime and beat them in overtime. So that was recent, and but for the most part, the games that we have played were a while back. So all the teams are probably going to be doing some things a little bit differently by the time you see them in the sectional.
Well, Brent, I would think looking from your last few games, one of the keys for you during this win streak, especially here the last couple of weeks, has been your improvement as a team at the free throw line.
Yeah, we've been able to make free throws down the stretch in a lot of games, and that has
You don't
been,
win a couple
and
without that.
that's true, absolutely. And our rebounding has stayed really consistent this year, so that's something we've been really happy with. That we have not been out rebounded all season. So can we continue that and continue that streak? So um, I think that's going to be important. And you've seen it. You guys have watched these tournaments for a long time. Really, the teams that defend and rebound really, really well here at sectional time are the teams that are going to have a good chance to win. So now, at the end of the day, you got to be able to put the basketball in the hoop and score. But the ones that defend at a high level, rebound at a high level, like you said, make free throws, don't turn the ball over, just all the little things that are controllable a little bit. Those are the teams that really have a great chance to advance.
Thanks as always to Coach Brobston. He and the entire Frankton coaching staff has been fantastic this year. Thank you so much to them, and thank you for listening. Please go subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just search Central Indiana Sports Report. It is easy to find. And if you wouldn't mind, please tell a friend. The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.